Great. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Abraham and Erwin. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Highlands Lynchburg Plan Kickoff meeting. My name is Jorge Bustamante, and I am the planning manager with Harris County Precinct 2, Commissioner Garcia's office. We are really glad you are joining us tonight. I want to start by talking about why we're here. We'll elaborate on this a little bit later in the presentation, but the goal of this project is to develop a community plan. A community plan that is community-led. A community plan that sets a vision for infrastructure, socioeconomic development, and quality of life. And a community plan that is not just going to sit on the shelf, but really be reflected in the future of this community. To do that, we need your local knowledge and your opinion to help develop and implement the community's vision. Next slide, please. Okay, so moving on to the agenda for today, we will do some introductions of the project team, go over the study area, the project goals and scope, and tell you all the ways that you can get involved. Because again, we really want this plan to be community-led. Last but not least, we'll have some time at the end for Q&A. With that, I want to introduce my boss, the man behind the vision, Commissioner Garcia, to welcome you and kick off this exciting project. Commissioner?
Good deal. Thank you, Jorge. And good evening, everyone. Thank you for, this is an impressive crowd. Let me just say, there's about 54 folks that have logged in tonight. Some are staff, but mostly it is members of the community. So I'm grateful to you because this is your project. I just am the facilitator. I am collecting your perspective, your input, but at the end of the day, this is all about you and your vision for your community, the Highlands Lynchburg community. So I want to thank you all for taking time to join me. But first of all, before we get into the community plan itself and what we're working to accomplish here, let me just say that, you know, I wish, I'm looking for, I got papers all over my desk here. My mask is over here. Don't I wish that we could talk about something other than mask and vaccines and talk about parks and roadways and neighbors and all that. Folks, I'm fit to be tied just as anybody is. I know that these meetings would be better, I'm a hugger, if we were doing them in person. Unfortunately, look, this pandemic is real. Just yesterday at Commissioner's Court, I read a very painful resolution recognizing the life of one of our Harris County Sheriff's deputies who lost his life to COVID-19. And for that reason, we're still having to use this platform. And so I just simply want to say that once we can get this pandemic put behind us, we can get back effectively in person. I was excited about our community centers opening back up. We had already gotten up to 75%. Now we're back down to 25%. But as soon as we can get this pandemic under better control, we can move forward. And so for that reason, I want to encourage you, as my family and I have done, to please consider getting the vaccine if you haven't already done so. If you have done so, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, just today, I received an important piece of information. The CEO of the Harris County Hospital District, which is now known as Harris Health, Dr. Porsa, shared with me that we have had a significant number of deaths of people that have had to go to our hospitals, Ben Taub and LBJ, because of COVID-19. But not one of those who died had been previously vaccinated. That means that the vaccine is working. Folks, if you have questions or concerns about the vaccine, I get it. I absolutely understand. All I ask is that you consider visiting with your doctor or a medical professional that you trust and get them to help you answer any questions, any concerns, any doubts you may have. And I hope that that will lead you to consider to accepting the vaccine. But for those of you who have done it, like I said, thank you. Thank you for your confidence. Thank you for stepping forward. Now I ask you to be an ambassador of the vaccine and encourage other family members, other friends and neighbors, other coworkers to do so as well. That's how we're going to get out from these virtual meetings and get back in person so we can hug each other, so we can be in the same room and we can see more than eyes in that room. I want that so badly. And I want my community centers busting at the seams because so many people are in them and participating in our programming. So I'll just say that if you want to know where we're doing the vaccines, my office is aggressively providing them in the community. Please follow us on social media or call our community center at 713-274-2222. I'll ask someone to drop that number in the chat. And so that way you can find out where you can get your vaccine if you'd like to do so. But again, please help us get this pandemic behind us, and the vaccine is amongst the best way to do that. Also, I just want to now simply say why we're here. We're here because Highlands, Lynchburg is an important community. It's got a lot of history. It's got a lot of richness, and I want to make it even better. But instead of me saying what I'm going to do, I want to make sure that my vision is in line with you. So the vision that Jorge talked about earlier was simply about the process of how we get from here to there. And that is by making sure that we're taking community input from the ground up. And that means you. And so for that reason, again, I'm excited. From just a few minutes, we've grown to 67 participants, and I'm excited to have each and every one of you on this call. With that, let me just say that this is now our 4th community planning project that we have launched since I've been in office. This is a process by which we want to get from you where you would like to see improvements, investments, adjustments, and other considerations for your community. This is how we will take your vision for those of you who have been lifelong and long-time Highlands and Lynchburg residents, and you obviously know the community better than most, and you say, man, I wish the county would do something right here, and that project will improve the quality of life. That's what I want to hear. I mean, I think I have a pretty good idea, but I want to hear it from you. And this process will help to document that. And that's why I have so many members of my staff here to help me take your feedback and make sure that we're logging it all down and creating this plan. Now, as Jorge mentioned earlier, I don't want a plan on a shelf. That's not what these plans are all about. But rather I want them to be living and active documents that we can look at, prioritize your input, set some immediate goals and projects, look for the next tier of those projects, and then look for the third tier of those projects and investments that you would like to see done in the Highlands Lynchburg area. And so that's why I'm excited. But as I started with earlier, look, I know this pandemic has been tough on everybody, but I especially want to tip my hat to Jessica Woods and the Highlands Lynchburg Chamber of Commerce and to the area churches, because I know that they have been very, very active and have participated in my office in making sure that no one goes without and no one has gone without during this pandemic, providing food and other assistance. And if you didn't hear, yesterday we approved another $30 million grant program for area small businesses. I led the charge on the first one and the second one and the third one. And so I ask you to work with Jessica and her staff. And Jessica, thank you, by the way, for joining us this evening. I saw your name on the list of panelists that are here. So thank you for your leadership and thank you for your work in the community. But please know that we've got another 30 million that I want to put to work, and I want to make sure that it's put to work in Precinct 2 for area businesses. These are targeted for area micro small businesses. That means at least 30 employees or less. And look, that isn't a necessary cap, because the larger businesses have had a great deal of success in getting federal or other maybe state assistance, but the smaller businesses have not. And so this is why our program that we launched last year, early last year, and then the second one that we did mid to late last year, and now this one, they have been effective in making sure that they're getting to businesses in the area. So I want to make sure that you know about it. Again, call my call center, 713-274-2222 for more information. And, but again, Jessica and the chamber will be at the tip of the spear in doing all that we can to inform members of the community that that program is available. And then look, just over my time in having the honor of serving you as your county commissioner, I've heard your concerns. You want to see more streetlights. You want to address the dumping and the waste trash that we identify in the community sometimes, and the need for more law enforcement in the area. I share those concerns, and I want to tell you that we have been working actively. Already, law enforcement has received an unprecedented investment since my time in office. Over a 15% increase in budgets across the board, whether it's the sheriff's office or the various constables' offices, along with the district attorney's office as well. And so with that, as soon as we can get this pandemic out of the way, we can look forward to the next Highlands Jamboree. And I look forward to participating in that with you. And I know that some of our seniors are already making good use once again of the San Jacinto Community Center. And I'd love seeing folks like Eddie and Ramonia Williams that are with the Marcellus Williams Resource Center. They come together with other neighbors like Dr. Tom Kelcher with Empowered Network Services to create new efforts like the East Harris County Navigation Center for the Homeless. And I'll just tell you right there, let me just, I'm looking at this on my notes, but homelessness is something that I'm all too familiar with since my time as a Houston police officer, as a member of Houston City Council, as your former sheriff, and now as your county commissioner. And that's why I led the charge in putting together an incredible new system between the city of Houston and Harris County to make sure we're not pointing the finger to each other and making sure that we're not pushing folks into one jurisdiction or the other, but having a very real and strategic approach to dealing with homelessness. And I want to thank Dr. Kelcher for his work in this regard. That navigation center is going to employ to empower people who are previously homeless. We're already doing that. And I was looking at some pictures earlier today. Folks who were homeless, but now are working. They're working and contributing to the community, and they're excited about it because they're recognizing that we recognize the value that they have And we're working hard to make them, once again, productive members of our society and taking them out from under those freeways, taking them out from those encampments, but getting them on a better path for their future. And so I'm excited about that, and you'll be hearing more about that. But when, things like this only happen when we come together and when we work together to deal with collective things that are important for all of us in many regards. And that's the holistic approach that I like to take in serving as your county commissioner, looking at ways to deal with this. But back to this meeting, this planning process. This is your community. I recognize that. I have never lived in Highlands, Lynchburg, and so I would be remiss if I tried to tell the lifelong residents what's good for you. And that's why this community planning process is important for me, because I get to hear from you. And the plan that we will see after this process, as we've already seen with the other communities that we've worked with, will ultimately bear your fingerprints. It will have your signature in terms of the things that are important to the Highlands Lynchburg community. So with that, the Precinct 2 team will be alongside you. I want to thank all the members of my staff, Gretchen, Nelson Espitia and his team, Jorge. I've got my county, my precinct engineers rather on here. We have a representative from the Harris County Sheriff's Office in Ms. Fortune. And I also want to recognize that that the members of the community make all of this possible. And that's why I'm going to sit back and listen to you. But with that, listen, there's always things happening. We are working as we speak, and as we put this plan together, we're still working to deal with the things that have already come to our attention via your input through the call center or through emails that I tend to get. Those situations are always looked at and responded to and addressed. And so please continue to do so. But this plan will ultimately become the Bible for this community, so that we can work on things that we're talking about today, envision today, and make an effort to make a reality tomorrow. But you can sign up for our newsletter, call our call center. They'll help enroll you into our newsletter, or you can visit us on all of our social media platforms, whether it be Nextdoor, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Please follow us on all of those platforms so that you can get up to the date, instantaneous information about all the happenings in Precinct 2. So with that, again, I'm excited. I want to see what the feedback looks like. So I'm going to turn it right back over to Jorge and our consultants to move us along. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Commissioner. I keep watching the participant list and it keeps climbing little by little. So I'm really excited that you all are joining us tonight. With that, I'll move forward to introduce the project team. And here it is on the slide. First, we have the Harris County team, included, of course, myself. My name is Jorge Bustamante, and Gretchen Knowles. You guys know her. She's a rock star in the community. So we love her here in the precinct. As well as the Harris County engineering team, which includes Brian Brown and Emily Long, and the Harris County Public Health team with Ismet and Peril. Moving on to our consultant team, our prime consultant is Clark Honda with Mary and Amanda, and their sub-consultants include Ali, Jim, Monisha, Ricky, Charmaine, and Anna. Next slide. So before I hand it over to Mary, I wanted to talk a little bit about all the community plans that are happening in the area. This is a very special time because it's not just this one community plan that we're kicking off. We're actually kicking off 3 community plans as part of the Harris County team goes, which include, of course, Highlands, Lynchburg. McNair Linos is having the similar kickoff presentation tomorrow night. And then will be followed by the unincorporated Baytown area down the road. In addition, the city of Baytown, as you probably already know, is working on their comprehensive plan. And so we've been coordinating closely with the city to make sure that these plans are not only coordinated, but complement each other. And so we want you to feel and to rest assured that we'll make sure that everyone is heard. Next slide, please. With that, I'll hand it off to Mary to go into the study area and into a little bit more detail into the planning process. Mary?
Excellent. As Jorge said, I'm Mary Keilers with Clark Condon. The study area that we're looking at for Highlands Lynchburg is everything shown in orange on the screen. As you can see, the 2 places, Highlands and Lynchburg, are divided by the I-10 corridor, which is shown in the orange dashed line. And then there is also the primary north-south axis, which is Main Street as well, that goes through the 2 communities. Population-wise, there's approximately 10,600 residents within the Highlands region and about 2,500 within Lynchburg. The population differs between the 2 slightly in the demographics, with 53% being white and 38% Hispanic within Highlands. And then within Lynchburg, 55% Hispanic and 29% white. And then the remainder, a mix between Black, Asian, and then other as well. So that is kind of the starting point of what we're looking at, of who lives here within this region. And then there's also, we've highlighted on the screen where some of the existing Harris County parks are. Those are shown in the green dots. And then also noted 2 of the Superfund sites as well, shown in the pink dots. So as it's already been mentioned, the goals of the study is to create a shared vision and really understanding what the community wants. You are all experts in the community. You know your region the best. So in conjunction with gathering data, the goal is to hear your vision and to come up with a plan that can change the community and guide the development over the next few years and address any issues that may be. And this can come from anywhere with infrastructure or just enhancements to generally improve the community. And the overall goal is to create implementable projects. So as part of this process, we'll be identifying projects that will be categorized on, in a matrix to see which ones are most applicable to be implemented in the next few years. Oops. So as part of the study, the things that we're looking at are, what are the existing open spaces and the opportunities there may be for improvement? What is the connectivity within the community, both from an infrastructure and sidewalks and mobility, and how are people moving throughout? Are there areas to improve that circulation and improve the connectivity between the different groups? Also trying to understand all of the environmental aspects that may already be occurring in the region. And then if there are opportunities to encourage economic development and impact that and help guide growth over the next few years. And then understanding better what are the cultural assets and what aspects can be highlighted, how does the community identify? And as far as the process, what we do is begin with collecting data and starting to understand what the community consists of. So this includes doing site analysis and also pulling other stats and figures. And then also, really starting with this public engagement. This is the first opportunity for everyone to relay their thoughts and share their ideas. And taking those 2 elements and starting to shape a vision and a concept. And then with that information, coming back to everyone and seeing if we're on target and if that vision and concept answers the needs of the community. And from there, refining what the vision is and checking in, and then ultimately creating a plan for implementation. And throughout this whole process, everything will be documented and put together in one final document, which will be given to the county for adoption and for implementation. So to dive a little bit deeper into that, we have this broken into 4 categories. Phase 1 is the discovery phase. Like I said, that's the data and your input and starting to understand the different aspects of the community. And the next part is to really start to analyze and understand how these may impact design and changes and investments within the community. Developing those different elements and documenting them into the booklets and graphics so that everyone, when we meet again, we can all understand what the vision is. And then ultimately creating that final guiding document that will be used throughout the years to come. And now I'm going to turn it over to Harris County Public Health.
Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Ismat Bouyan and I have with me Paro Pillai, and we are both members of the Harris County Public Health Built Environment Unit. So the next few slides, I'll share the work that we do and then our role in the community plan. So the Built Environment was created in 2015 with a mission to promote health and wellness through healthy community design, where individuals live, learn, work, worship, and play throughout Harris County. The built environment includes natural as well as man-made places and spaces that form a community. An important aspect of community design is health equity, which means that all individuals have a fair and just opportunity to be healthy. So an example of healthy community design includes having walkable neighborhoods connecting to schools. So this results in increased physical activity levels among children, which later contributes to better school performance. Another example of healthy community design is having access to various modes of transportation. So aside from reducing emissions, this allows for connectivity for individuals who don't have access to vehicles. We can go to the next slide. So improvements in the built environment have both direct and indirect health benefits. So incorporating one or all of these elements can improve the overall health outcomes for a community. So some examples of community design and their health impacts include access to parks and green space, as well as access to healthy foods, which both result in decreasing chronic diseases such as obesity and diabetes, improving health and mental health, physical and mental health, increasing life expectancy, and ensuring equity throughout the community. We can go to the next slide. So the Built Environment Unit will work closely with the rest of the project team to create a health impact assessment, which will provide a health lens for this community plan. A health impact assessment will combine community feedback, research, data, etc., to provide recommendations that will increase positive health outcomes and address any negative ones. So with that, we look forward to working with the team and positively impacting this community.
All right. So as you can see, the plan is to have a very comprehensive look at many aspects of the community, ranging from infrastructure to health, and trying to create this implementable plan. And as we mentioned, this is a ground up approach and really accessing all of you as the experts. So how you can get involved is to join one of the task force. So there's an opportunity to do that by going to the website and inputting your name and or contacting Gretchen or Jorge with your information. There's also the opportunity to join the future community meetings. So they possibly will be virtual again or in person, but we will keep you all posted through social media and signs as we've done previously, so you know when those are coming. We would also ask that those of you who have joined this evening spread the word and help gather other people from the community to join us in the future. And most importantly, just stay connected throughout this process. It'll be several months before the study will be complete. So we all want you to stay involved and continue to share your ideas.
Thank you, Mary. And I would like to add, I really would encourage everyone to if you have the availability, please join the task force. That will ensure that we get really good representation and opinions from the community. The task force is gonna be the group that really dives in deep into the nitty-gritty of the plan. And so if you have the availability and the interest in joining us in developing this together, feel free to log into the website or send us an email or a call, and we'll plug you in.
All right, so that takes us to our question and answer section. So you can put your information in the chat. There's also the possibility to unmute as well. As it said in the beginning of the presentation, you can use *6 if you're on the phone to speak, but please go ahead and we can open it up for discussion.
Mary, I will take one more second. I did want to share with everyone, if I can share my screen. We put our website, the Precinct 2 website, here at the bottom. If you go to the Precinct 2 website, we have a really cool tool that we call the project dashboard that highlights all the projects that we are actually already working on. So definitely this plan is going to help us guide the future projects that we start moving forward, but we are already doing a lot of projects in the Highlands Lynchburg area. And so I'll take a second just to share my screen and show you where this project dashboard is, and then we'll take Q&A. Let me know if you can see my screen.
We can see it.
Okay, so harriscountyprecinct2.com, hcp2.com, projects, project dashboard. This one has a summary of all the projects that we are implementing. Across the precinct, we have 209, and you can track projects from planning to study, design, bid and construction, and ultimately completion. I'll let y'all take a look in your own time, but I really wanted to highlight this map feature that you can click on, and we'll give it a second to load. And so we've created this interactive map where you can click on an area and it'll tell you all the projects that the precinct is working on. This includes, road, sidewalk, trails, drainage, community plans. As you can see, here's the Highlands Lynchburg area, and there's quite a bit. I won't dig into them too much, but I just wanted to share with everyone so that you can look at it on your own time. All right, with that, Mary, I'll stop sharing and give back to you, and we can take some Q&A if anyone has any questions. See, we have a little bit of a quiet crowd today. Feel free to ask any questions live or in the chat. We'll take a couple of minutes to wait for those. And also, it doesn't have to be questions. We're happy to take comments. Let us know if this sounds like a good project, if you're excited about this plan. If you're planning on joining the task force, feel free to chime in.
Hello, good evening. My name is Blanca Capetillo. Can you hear me?
We hear you. Hey, Blanca.
Sorry, I'm not at work, so, oh my goodness. Okay, so I am the campus principal at Highlands Elementary, right there off of Wallaceville with Goose Creek ISD. My question to y'all is, when is the next community meeting? So we could probably put this in our parent newsletter if you allow us to do that.
Great question. So I think our next step is going to be working on setting up a task force meeting. We haven't defined specific times for those, but again, the task force is going to be the group that helps us through the nitty-gritty of the plan. So that is going to be next on our radar. After that, we will work on scheduling another public meeting for the public at large. But definitely we'll keep your contact info and we'll follow up with you so that next go round we're able to spread the word through the school as well. That'd be great.
Jorge, this is Nelson.
Hey, Nelson.
I'm wondering if the person who just placed a comment from the Harris County Public Library or about the Harris County Public Library, it only says iPhone, so there's no name. Can you chime in? Do you mind commenting or elaborating on your comment that you put in the chat box? I only see that it says iPhone. I don't know if he or she is allowed to talk.
I think everyone has the ability to unmute themselves.
Yes, if you're on the phone, you may need to do *6.
Oh, thank you, Mary.
But just so everyone can see, the comment said, I've seen no mention of the library as an asset as a Harris County Public Library, which has been active in all 3 communities, mentioned and been in Highlands since the 20s. So yes, we would consider the public library as an asset, and that will be one of the elements that we'll be inventorying as part of the data and analysis portion. We have some other questions. Do you want me to just go ahead and read these out to you?
Sure, yeah, if you can, Mary, and then we'll address them together.
All right, so we have one here that says, what % of funding will be allocated for social service agencies?
That's a great question. I think the scope of this plan is to really look at what the priorities for the community is, right? And work out, what projects need to happen. I think funding is a very important piece that gets worked out as the plan gets implemented. And so I think as a part of this plan, we're looking at the big picture and prioritizing what can be implemented. And as the implementation comes along, we'll be working on the funding piece.
Excellent. So another question, is there any plans to get rid of the drugs that are openly being sold to the streets?
Again, I'll take that one, Maddie. Yeah, part of the dialogue here is to actually, public safety is one of the important aspect and priority for Commissioner Garcia. So I'm glad that we are talking about this. We will be addressing a lot of these issues as part of the plan and discuss with appropriate agencies.
Okay, the next statement, I would like to know if the Four Corners area can be cleaned up. The bridge connecting Highlands and Lynchburg needs desperately to be cleaned, etc.
Great question. Yes, I think it's something we can identify, and And really, you know, as we have seen from previous plans, as the plan gets developed, we start identifying low-hanging fruit that can be addressed sooner than the plan's implementation, right? So if there's a cleanup that needs to happen that we identify early on, we can start mobilizing those resources and help make it happen. So definitely a great time to bring up all the concerns, and we'll start working on those.
Jorge, I want to also add that as part of this plan, there will be a necessity for interagency coordination. Some of that, the infrastructure is owned by TxDOT, and also in terms of maintenance, there is multiple agency involved. If it's part of incorporated Baytown, that will be City of Baytown's responsibility. If it is unincorporated county, Harris County will address that. But yes, our project team will take your input and identify who is responsible and then work on it.
All right. The next item is identify projects that are social service related.
Eddie, if you're there, can you elaborate on that question? I'm not fully understanding your question. Maybe we can move on to the next one, and if Eddie chimes in, we'll come back and address it.
And Jorge, this is Nelson. We can also follow up. Gretchen can do so. Mr. Williams asked a similar question earlier, and we visited with Mr. Williams. So Gretchen and I are happy to circle back with him.
Sounds good.
All right, we have a comment next that says, we appreciate you seeking community involvement and hope this can lead to improvements to our community. And then the next one from Lisa, just simply mowing, edging, and curbs. I think looking for a little bit of cleanup and care. And from Mark, we have a comment, are there any funds for water or sewer infrastructure?
That's a great question. And I think, again, the funding piece is
Jorge, let me address that one. Again, as of today, Harris County are not allowed to spend funds on directly county revenues on water and sanitary sewer infrastructure. However, we do work with the district, MUD district, or the provider to apply for different types of grant, CDBG grant. So we use, and that's how we match, and we do some improvement in many areas where improvements is necessary. In addition to that, you know, our team always look into grant opportunities, works closely with the water board and the MUD board, and let them know that, hey, there's an opportunity where you can go after some grant dollar.
All right. The next one is, once again, regarding the I-10 intersection at Lynchburg, hoping for some cleanup and how that can be brought about. So that'll be one area we'll have to give some consideration to. And then Gilbert has offered to help publicize this in the Star Courier. So that will be great. Lisa also mentioned all the signs being removed. The next comment, we were told about a drainage project by Harris County in Creel Real Estate near junior high. When will that start?
That is a good question. I don't have that info off the top of my head, but Brinza, would you, I'm going to drop in my contact info in the chat, and if you want to send me a message, and I can follow up with you on that.
Okay, so the next one is in regards to joining the committee and being involved. If we can restate how to do that. And I can actually pull that slide back up so you all can see it one more time. Here we go. So there's an opportunity to join the task force if you go to this website, highlandslynchburgplan.com. And there is a place there where you can input your information and so that you'll receive updates and be able to join the task force. You also have the opportunity, if you have, to contact Gretchen or Jorge as well directly to join the task force as well. And their information's right here. So I'll leave this up for a second so you guys can write down that info.
Thank you, Mary. Maybe we can take a second and give the floor to a couple of people that have raised their hands using the gesture piece. I see an iPhone and a Jay Reese. Please go ahead. I think iPhone, you're showing up as muted still. There we go.
Okay, I apologize. I'm having technical difficulties. My name is Mandy Sheffield. I'm the branch librarian at the Stratford Library, and we have been an active part of the community since the 20s. And in the last 5 years, we've also branched out to working with the community centers at Barrett Station and Jody Walker. And there was a CIP project that was submitted last year. And if that was looked at, it would actually be beneficial to all 3 areas as a whole, as a resource, as an access. And the Harris County Public Library is already providing internet access for the future of Harris County. So we really could be a large benefit to all 3 areas. And I just wanted to make sure that we were remembered.
Absolutely, thank you, Mandy. Yeah, we're please join the task force. I think that's going to be a great way to plug in and make sure we take all your feedback and we integrate it into the plan. All right, maybe next we can go on to Jay Reese. I don't think we can hear you, Jay Reese. We might be having some technical difficulties. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
I apologize. Yes, good evening. Thank you for your time. My name is Jaime Reese. I'm with Zxp Technologies. We're a packaging facility in Highlands. We employ about 250 employees. We're located across the street from Highlands Elementary. Just definitely want to get involved and, willing to support the county with any information that is needed. We're growing. We have a lot of the truck traffic. So my fellow community members, I apologize for the truck traffic that is on Wallaceville. But I see the work and the widening that has already been done. And so I just want to get involved as well to see how we can assist with truck traffic data maybe, or anything like that may be helpful for y'all on how many trucks we're bringing in and, the rail cars that we're bringing in. But yes, that's one of the few things that has affected us is the widening of Wallaceville and some drainage there. So we're willing to partner with y'all.
Thank you so much. Yes. Again, please send us your contact info and we'll keep you in the loop and keep in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. I see next, Missy. Yeah, my Zoom is not showing me the full name, but Missy, the teacher, I'm guessing.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, I'm Missy with the Teapot Depot in Highlands. And I just wanted to take a second to say thank you to everybody at Precinct 2. When the pandemic started, there were a lot of community centers that did like feed the people in Precinct 2. And you guys gave small business owners that were restaurants in Precinct 2 the ability to bid on doing the catering for that every Friday. And so we got several of those contracts. I know it's been hard on everybody, but really for us personally, the pandemic was really hard because, you know, we couldn't have any dine-in customers, and I've got 7 employees, and it's not a lot, but that's a lot for me to have that on my mind. Or how am I going to continue to provide a paycheck for these people? When I lay my head down at night, I want to know that I can take care of my staff, and it got very scary. So thank you guys for implementing those programs that allowed me to bid on that and also keep my staff busy. We were thrilled that we had that every Friday. So again, thank you guys for doing that for the community and also for community businesses. I know you can ask any employee that works at Teapot, and we were extremely grateful to have that coming in every week. So thanks again for doing that. That's the business side of it. I'm also a resident here. I live, my house is kind of across the street from the back of the community center. So I would like to also say park security presence there with police officer presence would be great all hours of the night. I can tell you that I can open my front door and let my dog out at 1 or 2 in the morning, and there's quite a bit of foot traffic at these parks. I don't know what they're doing. I can only assume it is probably not something good. In the morning, when I come out, there's often 3, 4, 5 people with backpacks walking out of the park area and just roaming around the streets around here. Although my heart goes out to those people in need, I'm also concerned with my home and my business. So I do see quite a bit of, sheriff cars sitting out there, but not in the middle of the night. So I'm not sure what the schedule is. If that's something that we can look at, I know that would make a lot of us that live here and work here feel a lot safer. But thank you guys for all of your effort, and we really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Missy. And yes, feel free to join the task force and join us. Other than that, we'll definitely take those comments into account.
Thank you.
Great. We also have Benny who raised your hand, and then maybe we can go back a little bit into the written questions. Hey, Benny.
Yes, yes. My name is Benny Gonzalez. I'm with the Highlands Sports Association as well as Team Texas Special Needs at the Highlands Sports Complex. The question I have is there any plans of doing any improvements to the park? And the reason why I say that is that we have been addressed a couple of times over the last several years, like before 2015, that there's been talk that Goose Creek School District is looking at maybe taking back the property because that actually belongs to the property to Goose Creek, and then the county is leasing it from the district. So, and if that's the case, then what is the future for our kids, especially my special needs, because I'm actually the founder of Team Texas Special Needs, and that we've been playing in the complex for the last 12 years for our special needs. And we just want to make sure that we're going to have a place for our girls, as well as our special needs, as well as our older boys. Baseball have a place to play. I know that, we have Edna May Park, but, that's been handled by Little League on that side. And then we handle over at the complex near the junior high. So is there any update or any status of what's maybe coming down the line from that side of the district to see if they're going to take over the complex? And because that was been talked for the last several years, that there was a sticking point that there was an issue that we almost lost the park because of some technicality of the information of whatever had to be done to the park and us going somewhere else. Can someone give me some information on that, please?
So Benny, I don't have that information sort of off the top of my head. I am happy to check in with our Parks Director, Chris Sadler, and if you want, I can. If you want to shoot me an email, I can follow up with you on that. I think it's kind of a specific question, so I believe our Parks Director.
Yeah. Well, we had a meeting here a while back, and we're still at it. For what I understand, they're still at a year-to-year lease, I think, with the district, between the district and the county. And so, because all the other parks around us is getting upgrades, where at the Highlands Sports Complex, there's been lights installed, but then been said that there are upgrades planning, but then I'm hearing rumors that the district is looking at taking the property back. So we hadn't really been informed other than what we were talked about here at the beginning of the year. And I've heard numerous conversation from various people that, that the district may be looking to maybe expand into that property. And if that does, that will take everything to the ground, from the lights to the buildings and everything else around in that side of that complex. And also, if there's not going to be any, anything coming from the district that will be there for years to come, then, we would like to see some upgrade lighting in the parking lot, because, as a parent, as well as, parents out there that have kids playing, and if one kid just dart out in the dark when the lights are on at the ballpark, but there's not enough lights in the parking area, and if it's dark at night and a child decided to dart out there, there's going to be an accident. And so, and also on top of that, that will kind of disturb, keep away people thinking about maybe breaking into people's cars, because there is some dark spots out there at night when the lights are on. And, it's just, we do have the security, sheriff's office come by there and patrol throughout the evening before the time's up. And then, after we leave, then, we make sure that everybody's out of there and locked down. So, but if there's no action being taken to the complex, then, we would like to see some upgrades to the parking lot lighting.
Thank you, Benny. Yeah, those are great comments. I definitely made note of that. But yeah, feel free to send me a message or an email, and I'll plug you in with our Parks Director so that we can get you the latest update on that.
Yeah, Chris has my number.
Okay.
I mean, he has my email and contact information.
Okay. Yeah. I'll let him know to check in with you.
I have his information too, Jorge. Hi, Benny.
Hello.
All right. Great. Mary, do you want to keep reading the questions in the chat?
Yes, sure. Okay. So there's just a question mark about zoning on here. And there's also a comment about we would appreciate a greater animal control presence because most dogs roam freely through Lynchburg, making it difficult to walk and play in our area.
Great comments. I think that's something we're gonna plug in and get the right. I think Milton was saying a little bit earlier. Part of this is the coordination with other entities, right? There's quite a bit that the county can do on our own, but there's a lot that we can do with our partners, and so we're definitely going to take note of all these questions in the chat and plug them into our partners as well.
There's a thanks for taking Superfund sites into consideration as well. Absolutely. there's a question here. Will there be any consideration in the planning for land loss to homeowners living on the San Jacinto River?
That is a good question. I don't know if I understand the land loss part. Mr. Williams, if you're available, could you elaborate on that?
This is Eddie Williams, and my question is with regard to land loss. We had a home on the San Jacinto River right on West Houston, and all those homes on West Houston, because it was kind of in a bend, we lost a lot of land. And like initially when we purchased the property, it had about 1.5 acres, or close to 1.25 acres. And in the end, the river washed away, I guess, 3/4 of the acreage. And, you know, we had the Corps of Engineers and everybody out, and they said that it could be fixed, you know, repaired. But they didn't know where the funding was coming from, who would fix it. At one point, they said that the Corps of Engineers would do a certain percentage of it. And then on the other side, and the other percentage would have to be done by the county. And it seems like they couldn't come to a consensus of who was going to do what. And so nothing ever got done. And so a lot of people lost a lot of land. And we were still being taxed on that, on the initial amount of land that we were purchased. So that was one of the concerns that we had.
No, it's a very, very valid question. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. Again, we'll coordinate with flow control and dig up whatever has been done and see what we can do.
All right, so just so everyone knows, the information from the presentation, the contact info has also been added into the chat if you'd like to copy that out. The next question here, it says, when is the next phase of road widening project for the north section of FM 2100 to Barrett planned to begin?
Next phase, I believe that should be coming here soon. Feel free to go to our project dashboard. I showed it a little while ago. That should have information on all of our projects, including the 2100 project and more information there.
All right. So Milton has added into the chat that the Creel County Estates anticipated construction start is January 2022. That was one of the questions from earlier. Okay, so someone asked in the chat what a CIP is. That stands for Capital Improvement Project. So I think we've already talked a little bit about this regarding the library already. And the project itself was to move the library into a more central and accessible location so it can better serve the entire area as a resource. So that was one of the items that we said that we would be looking into again. There's quite a few thank yous in here. I'm just scrolling through them all.
Thank you for the thank yous.
Yeah. Here we go. Here's a question. What's the plan for holding the ones called upon for criminal activities and trespassing accountable for illegal actions they are committing? I I've made many calls at the misdemeanor felony level and have yet to see any follow-ups, tickets, or progression from effort.
Yeah, I think that touches upon the public safety aspect, and we're definitely going to keep the sheriff's office and the constables in the loop and invite them to the task force so that we can coordinate with them and address public safety issues.
All right, we have a statement here. I would like to see Van Road replaced due to potholes. Both roads on either side of Van Road have been paved in the past, but our road has been missed in the past. What is the status?
Great question. Again, I would refer you to the project dashboard that should give you all the latest and greatest on the projects we have going
on. Since we were not consulted when the illegal children immigrant facility was established, are there any additional supports given to the community?
That is a good question. That is a separate facility. I think it's something that we're gonna take into consideration in our plan. But I appreciate you bringing it up.
There's a couple more links put in the chat and a few more thank yous, but at the moment we don't have any more questions.
Perfect, and thank you, Nelson, for supporting us through the chat and answering questions as well. Yes, if you go to the chat, we have projects.hcp2.com as a link to the project dashboard, or just directly hcp2.com, and you can click on the link. Jessica, I see your question about reps from Leo. I am actually not familiar. Could you elaborate on
that? I'm sorry, this is Jessica Woods. Leo is law enforcement agencies, officers. We have had a couple of questions about that on this forum tonight, and that's something that you talked about in the future. We'll have some representation on the committee. I was just curious if we have anyone here tonight from any of those agencies, specifically Harris County Sheriff's Department or the Constable Precinct 3 is responsible for all of the area within this committee planning group. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. I am not sure.
Jessica,
yes.
There were supposed to be both, and I'm having a side conversation with Constable Representative, David Jones. He was supposed to be on here, and he was having trouble earlier. And then I know Jackie Fortune was supposed to be on here. Maybe for some reason they couldn't make it, but I'll follow up with them, okay?
Yeah, I did see a representation on here from Jackie's group, Thea.
Well, that's Jackie Metcalf. That's not Jackie Fortune.
Oh, I'm sorry, from Sheriff's Department. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Well, I know that's kind of a baseline concern, I think, for our community is crime and theft and drugs, which leads to property devaluation, infrastructure issues. We have theft of services in the community, electrical, water, et cetera. All of it is kind of tied in with some of our maybe less than ideal law enforcement presence. I know we have established the storefront in the community, which does allow officers to come and go and do reporting and things of that nature, but it's not a true office where local issues can be focused on. A lot of the crime that goes on in the area is related to our homeless population, which is related to drugs in the community, theft in the community, etc. Just for example, one of my buildings was burglarized at 3 a.m. Sunday night. So, and it's a very often posting on our local and community pages, the minor theft all the way up to major theft that happens in the community. And yet we still have a large population of people wandering around, sleeping on sidewalks, sleeping in the parks, hanging out in the parks, dealing drugs, or just lifting things from homes and businesses in the community. I think that's a very primary baseline for starting on a community improvement plan, because until we can get that under control, it's going to be hard to sustain any improvements that we do in the community. So I think it's going to be very important for the law enforcement agencies to be involved in this process and be a part of the plan for our community.
Absolutely. Great comments. Yes, and like Gretchen mentioned, we have invited them, and we'll continue to keep them in the loop as we move forward. All right, I see a question from Lisa. I live on Loch Ness Drive, which is between Barbers Hill and Highland Shores Road, on the same side as Highland Shores. We have no county maintenance on our road, and it's horrible. When we have contacted the county about the road, they tell us it's a private road. At the same time, we can't stop any traffic on this road. Is there anything the county can do about this? Yes, Lisa, I can check in with our road and bridge superintendent and have them swing by and see what can be done. Take a look at the road. Feel free to shoot me an email, and I can follow up with you on that. Then we have a question from Michelle Crawley. Will the Veterans Center be reopened? Gretchen, I don't know if you have any info on this. I actually don't. It seems like Gretchen's not available at the moment, but we'll come back to that one.
Jorge, we have a great veteran center now for those of you on this call that replaced that center in essence, and it's off of I-10 in Sheldon. It's the Vivi Ramsey Veteran Center, and we have a lot of great programming, new staff, and let me see if I can find something on our website to put in the chat room.
I can type it in, Nelson.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Nelson and Gretchen. Oh, and I see from John Band, please see if you can have Road and Bridge drive down Band Road as well. Yes, we'll flag that one as well. It seems we're catching up to the last of the questions. Maybe this is the last one. If not, feel free to drop in any other questions in the chat. And then we're getting close to wrapping up the meeting. So I appreciate everyone hanging in with us. You know, everyone's is excited and involved in the community. So thank you for being here. Oh, more questions. Okay, good. I see one from Randy Casey. In addition to police involvement, we need district attorney to be a part of the solution. Police can't do much if DA does not enforce. That's a good comment. Thank you, Randy. Another one is, could you put up the neighborhood? Could you put up the neighborhood as it is divided by race again, please? Could you elaborate on that question, Michelle? I think I'm having trouble understanding it.
I think it's in reference to the demographic slide that we had earlier.
Sure, but what is the question specifically? Oh, we can put up the slide up again. Oh, sure, Mary. Yeah, would you mind?
Sure thing.
And this is just an initial overview of some basic demographics and the project boundary. As part of the project team is going to be doing a deeper dive into demographics and land use and transportation and all those good things. So we just wanted to have a brief snapshot here at the kickoff meeting, but rest assured the planning process is gonna dive deep into demographics and a bunch of other areas for this project. I see we have another question, another comment on public safety. We hear you. That's very important. It's definitely a recurring comment, and that definitely brings it up to the top of our radar, and we'll be relaying it to our law enforcement partners and working in partnership with them.
Yeah, I want to add something to that, what you just said. Also, over here on Wallaceville, over here by the fire department, I live right close to the fire department. And every time when the fire trucks leave the station and come back, there's always some bonehead decide they want to outrun the fire truck while they're trying to back up and take it out. And they don't stop while they have their lights on. There's been a number of occasions that they've almost run into the fire truck. And to be honest with you, they need to have some type of security light or a stop light, like in some areas that I've seen, to where when a fire truck is leaving or coming in and they're backing up, because there's cars that will just come up right on them and they'll sign their siren or horns at them, and they just continue to just ignore that and just, I mean, I'm just waiting to see that to happen. It's been here a number of times already where cars are going out there and just trying to not stop and just pursued on while the truck is trying to back up, and back into the station. And so, and there's been several wrecks in ditches before for just if it's not the fire truck, whether they're backing up, they're out there speeding down Wallaceville and everything. But the main thing is I'm just waiting to see an accident happen with the fire trucks, because like I said, they just try to play chicken with them and they don't stop when they're trying to back up into the station. I hate to see an accident happen, especially with the fire truck.
Definitely. Thank you for that comment, Benny. That's very important. And, the county did adopt a Vision Zero policy. And so traffic safety is something that's very high on the radar. And thank you for sharing that. I think that's something we can look into and see how we can work on making all of our streets safer, so that the fire department doesn't have to go out and address crashes on streets.
Yeah, because the thing of it is, I've seen it before where you go in other cities or other volunteer areas where they have a caution light, and then when they back up, they change it to red where traffic has to stop. And like I said, there's been people that just goes right by them, and the fire department's in there blowing their horn at them and for them to stop, and they just don't stop. I mean, I almost see this every time when I'm out there mowing my yard, and just because I hate to see them get hurt, especially in that fire truck or anybody that matter.
Definitely. We'll take a look into that. Okay, again, I think we have one more question. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them now. We'll work on addressing this one. And if this is the last one, we'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. So the question is, what is the time frame plan for the task force groups? So I want to clarify, there's going to be one task force, and that task force is going to look at the different topics in the agenda. And again, we wanted to move really fast to kick off this project. We wanted to come to the community as soon as we could. The project team has been working really hard, and I really want to thank everyone in the project team who's gotten us to this point on the precinct side and on the county engineering side, public health, and our consultant team. But now that we arrived at today's meeting, now the actual work starts. And so we're going to be scheduling a task force meeting here shortly. We have not set that in stone, but
and Jorge, can I interject real quick?
Absolutely.
Okay, Fran Parent is she's representing Lee College, which I want to thank you for being here, Fran. And I'll make sure that I follow up with you and everyone else that is interested in being in the task force.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you, Gretchen.
You're welcome.
And we've also had a couple people already sign up on the website as well for the task force. So thank you for doing that as well.
Yes, please do. I think that is the best way to stay plugged in. I appreciate everyone coming tonight, but I really encourage you to take a second to sign up for the task force. That's going to help us a lot, and that will allow you to be as plugged in as possible as we move forward with this plan. So with that, I think we actually got through all the questions. Thank you very much, everyone. If we don't have any other questions or comments, I appreciate you coming, and have a good night.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. Have a good one.
Bye.
Thanks for your time.